the names of the authors. But we can cut to the chase here. Was there or was there not, or is there not a new ongoing fraud here? Frontier operates a fleet of minivans limited to 10 passengers, including the driver. And the public school district admitted through a public data request that it doesn't have any copies of vehicle inventories provided by Frontier. They don't have anything, despite the contract called for requiring a vehicle inventory of all vehicles. The school district doesn't have that, and yet apparently that did not prevent them from paying out the money. They have also had a great deal of trouble reaching Falmata Bedasso. The district initially capped that contract with Frontier at $1.5 million, but they later raised it to $3 million in 2023. A 2024 document suggests the total may have reached $3.6 million, but no records show it was ever authorized to go beyond that. And then, as we learned, just as recently as just this January, 4 months ago, they're over, what did I say, $7 million? They're already over, what's the number I told you? $7 million. Yeah. Okay, but here's the interesting thing. It sounds to me as though the providing transportation to homeless and highly mobile students is something tacked into an existing transportation bill, and it was tacked in 2023. Now, I could be wrong, but that's how I see it. You guys have read the bill. Is that how you see it?
I have not read the whole bill. One thing I did learn, Joe, though, is that the statute doesn't have a single designated author. It's actually a collection of statutes related to school districts and their operations.
Okay.
That the final version approved by the full legislature.
The lion's share of Frontier's billing appears to be the transportation of the homeless and highly mobile kids. Those are kids who lack a fixed, regular, adequate nighttime residence. Okay. Here's where the fraud potentially could come in. According to Minneapolis School Voices, will somebody verify for me what that is? That's the one thing I didn't check.
What is it?
Minneapolis Schools Voices. Is that a newspaper? Is that a publication of the school union? Is that a publication of the district? It's called Minneapolis Schools Voices.
Okay, Minneapolis Schools
Voices.
Voices.news. This is their website.
Because Alpha's getting some of the information for this story from whatever this is, Minneapolis Schools Voices.
Okay, it doesn't say anything about this. It says student activities, budget, school funding.
It sounds like a school district-initiated newsletter. Is that right, John?
Yes.
It looks like it.
As far as I can tell. I'm looking at the laws itself to see if I can find an author.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. We just settled that.
Okay.
It was collectively written and approved by the legislature. Well, here, let's pay attention to these numbers. According to Minneapolis Schools Voices, about 900 kids were receiving transportation by cab or van in December of 2022. By the next school year, that number had climbed to nearly 1,300. That's a 40% increase in 1 year. That translated into higher costs for the district. In 22-23, the district spent $9.7 million on transportation for homeless and highly mobile students. That number was projected to reach $17 million this year. 17 million. How could that possibly be? That's a 75% jump in transporting homeless and highly mobile students between 2022 and 24. So you mean to tell me that in the last 2 years, the number of homeless and highly mobile kids increased by 75%. And I do not believe that. I don't believe that. Alpha tried to nail that down. They tried to visit the office listed as the company's address. All they saw were they saw about a dozen minivans in the parking lot. They took a closer look into Frontier's invoices. And in the spring of 2024, just a year ago right now, the district was billed $284,000 for 3 days of transportation. Public records offer no additional insight into whoever Bedasso is or his personal financial background. Minnesota Inclusive Growth Fund did a piece on him highlighting his transportation company's mission to serve a culturally diverse subset of students. Okay. Well, I'm here to tell you that we shouldn't have to live this way, but we do. And I see no reason. Somebody talked me off the ledge. Otherwise, I'm just going to continue to say I see no reason to not suspect fraud.
Well, it's hard to argue with you, Joe. I think you're onto something.
How do you get a 75% increase? This is a key element to understanding the frauds that we already have are the percentage increases in the supposed number of children requiring services. The percentage of kids with autism has shot up dramatically. The number of autism providers has shot up dramatically. We've been through that one. Food fraud, the standing joke, was the number of kids being served. Hundreds of thousands of kids at a time. That became the standing joke. Daycare, numbers of kids needing the service dramatically spiked, even though when J. Cole visited a couple of daycare centers,
They're here at night.
They're here at night, which was nonsense, or they were completely closed. That is a key to how the fraudsters are manipulating. They come up with an idea that appears to catch the attention of legislators, and the legislators begin to authorize the money. In this case, the legislators authorized money to the Minneapolis school district for purposes of paying transportation costs. And then, of course, we hear at the end of every year, by the way, how the Minneapolis Public Schools are so short in their budget that they need more money from the taxpayers. Well, one reason they need more money is because these frauds come along, and all of a sudden the Minneapolis Public Schools are on the hook for paying Frontier transportation services considerably more money than they ever contracted to do. And yet they do it, and they have done it despite not seeing any invoices turned into them by Frontier. I'm sorry, not having any copies of vehicle inventories provided by Frontier, despite the contract requiring a vehicle inventory of all vehicles planned to be used to provide service. I don't know where to turn. There are no people in the state of Minnesota I can turn to. The governor cannot be counted on. The attorney general cannot be counted on. The state auditor will come along every year or every 6 months and point out the failures of the people in charge of various agencies. Where am I supposed to go to get a credible, responsible taking of responsibility for this? At the very least, where could we go to get an explanation for why you don't have? That's no different than the violence interrupters submitting ridiculous contracts with no physical evidence or proof of them having done anything. Where are we supposed to turn in this state?
Beyond hunting this guy down and surprising him with a microphone and a camera there's nothing that we at GL can do, or for that matter, Alpha News, because they're not going to talk to Alpha, even if they do find them. This requires investigation from an official agency.
And that's what I was going to say. The second you get a camera or a microphone in front of this person, they're not going to talk.
Don't go thinking it's going to be the Attorney General.
I think I've already said that. That's
so maybe feds, the FBI. I don't know.
I guess